Ladies and like the 3 dudes who watch this according to the YouTube demographic data, please welcome to the proverbial stage, the Monkey Team pre-series timeline. This state-of-the-art beauty will update each time we learn something new about the Monkey Team's backstory as we go through the series. Before episode 6, all we knew about the Monkey Team's backstory was the information that we got from the theme song. So before we begin one of Monkey Team's first truly world-building episodes, take a good look at the timeline, because this is the only time it won't be a convoluted mess. Episode 6 starts with the Monkey Team reviewing one of their recent battles and going over it in a sort of critique session.
My reflexes were too slow.
My aim was off.
My calculations were faulty.
My feelings exactly.
Chiro argues that the team is already awesome and has no need for these sessions because that attitude never leads to anything bad happening in action shows ever. Antari acts as the team's real leader and tells everyone to go develop a new move. One of the most interesting things about Season 1 of Monkey Team is this awkward tension that exists throughout between Antari and Chiro. Chiro is much younger and less experienced than his peers, and it leaves Antari in this awkward situation where he needs to train Chiro to become a leader and respect him as a leader, but still has to make sure that Chiro doesn't get them all killed. Meanwhile, Chiro himself is at his most immature point, and while he clearly cares about the others, doesn't seem to have formed a respect for Antari or anybody else on the team yet that he has in later seasons. I mentioned that there's already a sense of camaraderie between them from the first episode, but there's also a bit of a shallow playfulness to it that implies this could be pretty soon after Chiro joined the team. This argument is also supported by the fact that Chiro has not been told some kind of important things yet. I mean, for example, seriously, you'd think that before letting someone else move into what apparently used to be Mandarin's room, they would have done, I don't know, something to sweep it, to make sure there was nothing left there planted or anything that could cause trouble. For some reason, Mandarin's glove sends out a signal that wakes him back up once it's activated, and the more I think about it, the less his plan here made sense. I mean, Mandarin is apparently boss enough to break out of a maximum security prison designed specifically to contain him whenever he feels like it, so why would he specifically wait for his glove to be put on by somebody else? How would he know that somebody else was going to put his glove on? Was someone else eventually replacing Mandarin something that was prophesied even before Mandarin went bad? Because that makes you think about his character entirely differently. If Mandarin was always doomed to be replaced by Chiro, his character becomes a lot more tragic. But anyways, yeah, we get this entire montage of Mandarin beating up a bunch of useless guards, and I would totally put the Imperial March here again if I wasn't worried about getting copyright stricken. Seriously, he looks so cool here! Do you guys see why I was excited to get to this episode? This is literally the coolest this idiot is ever going to look. Also, Mandarin apparently had enough time to become buddies with Skeleton King, so there's that. While those two plot over evil tea and cookies or whatever, everyone back at the Super Robot shows off the new moves they put together.
Part of its effectiveness is the surprise.
So it would appear.
Nobody cares that Sparks was just punched into a wall. Just look at that jerk. He doesn't care. Tori doesn't care. Nobody cares. Someone help him. Someone help the monkey with the dead eyes in the corner.
I have dubbed them biostatic energy amplification darts.
Oh, how about the spin shocker?
Spin shocker? Please, it's not a dance move.
I know I am pretty much required to talk about this scene or the fandom will murder me, and this friendship is super important, but I'm kind of drawing a blank for what specifically to say here. This was a cute scene, but their dynamic gets a lot more interesting once Otto is established as Gibson's intellectual equal in episodes like Fly Tour. If we're gonna talk about Otto right now, and we should, I'd rather talk about how traumatized he looks when Chiro pulls out Mandarin's shield. I mean, everyone is uncomfortable, but Otto is the most visibly disturbed, hugging himself and curling up a little. I mean, I know we tend to talk most about how Nova was treated by Mandarin with good reason, but what happened here? This episode also very subtly establishes that Antari's surrogate leader role is not only respected by, but sort of thrust upon him by the others. When Chiro asks who Mandarin is, every single other member of the team turns to Antari with the same pleading look for him to please tell Chiro so that they don't have to. And with that, it's finally backstory time.
Mandarin was the first of the super robot monkeys created. By far the wisest, smartest, and strongest. He was our leader. Though our mission was to protect Sugazoom, Mandarin felt he was above serving as guardian. He wanted to rule. This we could not let happen. As a last resort, we exiled him to an off-world prison.
Okay, let's update the timeline. At some point, the monkey team was created, Mandarin being the first among them. Mandarin later turned bad, and for whatever reason, the monkeys either went to sleep intentionally or were put to sleep inside the super robot until Chiro came and awoke them. But from what we saw in the flashback, the monkey team already had the robot before this point, so when did the robot first come in? I mean, okay, that's not something we need to know for the timeline to make sense at this point, but it's gonna be.
Sixth monkey?
I'm honestly not sure why Chiro was caught so completely off guard by this. I mean, if he'd already had some idea that he was destined to be the team's leader, maybe he'd be thrown a little more off, but he was completely caught off guard by that later in Hidden Fortress. So, why did he think we had another room with another color? So speak of the devil, Mandarin shows up right then and there, having taken over the hoop, using some sort of collars to get everyone to want to obey him, and you know what? No. I have a complaint, and it has nothing to do with having no idea where those collars came from. We got no scene explaining the collars suddenly on everyone, but I guess we can just assume that the hoop has some sort of anti-bad guy capture collar devices that it can use to mind control bad guys into coming to the ship and listening to them and not causing trouble. Okay, I can accept that. My problem is that I am realizing now for the first time that Mandarin's plan is absolutely terrible. For any of this plan to work, first someone had to put that glove back on, which the entire monkey team is apparently afraid of even seeing. Then, and only then, would a signal be sent to the hoop which would wake Mandarin up and allow him to do what he could have done at any point he felt like, honestly. He pushed over those guards easily. There was really no reason for him to delay his plan this long or rely on the chance that someone would put that glove on. Then again, it is solidly established that Mandarin is a huge drama queen. So maybe from Mandarin's perspective, if he couldn't take over Sugazoom with a dramatic flair while watching his successor crumble beneath him, it just wasn't worth it? This guy is supposed to be the wisest member of the monkey team.
It's the Hostile Outlaw Observation Prison, also known as the Hoop. Home to only one prisoner.
They could have called it the Primate Outlaw Observation Prison and shaped that space station completely differently. Mandarin and Chiro have an epic stare down for a bit, and Mandarin is surprised to find that Chiro's just a kid. Okay, I guess it sort of makes sense. He figured that another monkey would replace him, and the other monkey would probably use the glove because good guys recycle, but still. I'm sticking with the theory that Mandarin cares so much about being dramatic he'll do stupid things to get there. I mean, look at this.
I've dreamt of this moment. Countless fantasies played out in the black sleep of stasis. Always the same. The absolute annihilation of the monkey team.
Drama queen! Also, I could have told you leaving the robot was a bad idea, guys. Mandarin easily captures the monkey team and sets Chiro aside in hopes of doing one of those whole join me, blah 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 things.
Where are my monkeys?
No, the proper question is, where are my monkeys?
They're my monkeys. Shut up, Skeleton King. What gives you the right to talk about them like that? It's not like you own them or so. Oh. Oh.
I'm worried about Chiro. He has weaknesses that Mandarin can and will exploit.
But Chiro's special.
His developmental progress has exceeded our expectations.
Plus, he has a good heart.
As once did Mandarin.
Did Mandarin really used to be a nice guy? Because every piece of info we've gotten seems to hint that he was always actually kind of a jerk. I think your rose-colored outlook is showing, Antari. Long story short, Shiro lets Mandarin ramble about how he taught the monkeys all they know until he can suddenly but inevitably betray him and go rescue his friends. No, really! The wisest member of the monkey team.
The boy will return with his monkeys, and with my help, you will be ready for them.
I do not need your charity.
Then a gift. 5 gifts. I accept.
I really like Skeleton King and Mandarin's dynamic in this episode. Mandarin is under the impression, as I'm sure Skeleton King intends, that they are working together as equals, but Skeleton King actually has Mandarin wrapped around his finger. The more you watch Secret of the Sixth Monkey, the more you realize that Mandarin isn't nearly as smart as he thinks he is, or as anybody else thinks he is, for that matter. Skeleton King seems to be the only one aware of how much of a moron this guy actually is and how easy to manipulate he is.
Anybody seen some monkeys about yay big?
Chiro, that is not even close to how tall the monkeys are. Leave the incorrect height estimations to the experts, okay?
Attaboy, kid.
We knew we could count on you.
Of course, when Nerva says we knew, she means that by calculating the probabilities of a rescue due to your training, statistically we could assume that
We could count on you.
Shiro, I had my doubts.
It's okay, Antari. Everyone clearly had their doubts by their shocked expressions when Chiro busted in the room to rescue them. You're just the only one monkey enough to admit it.
And I'd rather hang out with you guys than Mandarin. It's all learn with that guy.
I'm just leaving this line here as another example of Chiro's early series immaturity. It's all just hanging out with some fun people and not having to learn too much to him at this point in the series.
Skeleton King's prediction comes to be. The boy returns, his monkeys with him. Sparks is at the helm.
We get it. You know the monkeys like the back of your hand.
What is he doing? I didn't teach him that.
Okay, important question. If Mandarin didn't teach Sparks to be the most reckless pilot in the history of the galaxy, who did?
Hyper formless? That is so messed up.
Again, can we leave the commentary to the experts, please? But seriously, if she's right, this whole thing just shows Mandarin's absolute need for control, and when he doesn't get it, he will literally just replace the people he wanted to control with carbon copies. He's obsessed with the monkey team. Mandarin is willing to go to extreme lengths to control the monkey team in the most dramatic way possible, no matter how stupid and how inconvenient the situation becomes for him. His existence revolves around the monkey team so much that he goes into a small panic when the monkey team's existence doesn't in turn revolve around him.
Mega Monkey Paw.
Whoa.
I know, right? Look at the gorgeous animation on that shot. Gosh.
Oh, give up, Mandarin. You're outnumbered.
Am I? A little back door planted in the robot monkey operating system long ago.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Antari, but I'm going more and more on the theory that Mandarin was never a good guy.
Just made that up.
And what the heck, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say he was never that smart either. Another long story short, Mandarin flees, but they consider it a victory for some reason, even though the bad guy is out of security again. That is a creepy water tower! Meanwhile, Skeleton King's plan to manipulate Mandarin finally succeeds as Mandarin agrees to let Skeleton King teach him his ways.
Evil one, teach me, and I will learn.
Oh, we're done. This is the longest episode of Closer Look to date, and it's easy to see why. There's a lot to unwrap in Mandarin's character and how he relates to the rest of the team. The episode does a really good job establishing this backstory and making you really feel like it exists and like it's something that, for lack of a better term, actually happens. Sometimes when you look at backstory stuff, it doesn't feel like it has an impact on the characters involved, but Secret of the Sixth Monkey does a great job in introducing us to the past of the Monkey Team and really making us feel like it matters without even really giving us too much information on it. I mean, we have Antari's idea of what happened, but that's apparently kind of faulty when we compare it to Mandarin's character. It's easy to see why Episode 6 and the backstory of Super Robot Monkey Team in general is the focus of so much fanfic and fan work, because there's so much we don't know about the backstory, but so much is implied in the little bit of information we do get. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up Closer Look 6. Sorry it once again took longer than I'd planned for it to, or wanted it to. On the bright side, I'm pretty darn certain that from now on I'll have the time to upload a new one at least every couple of weeks. What makes me so sure this time? Well, I kind of finished a little something up that was taking up a lot of my time. God bless and see you guys next time!